absolutely is the best day ever, and you can ask Mel England, the star of Best Day Ever, and the man about whom the actual script was written and has ultimately been successfully produced. We're standing here at the opening night premiere, and you guys are wildly excited for good reason. You can hear the voices. It is packed with people on the left and the right. Did you imagine, Jeff, first before we get to the star, you would have this kind of explosion with your personal story?
Never expected it a million years. When I wrote the story, I just thought it's going to be another small little independent movie, and here we are, the red carpet.
And here you are, Mel England, you are portraying a story that is very similar to many people in America and, by the way, the planet of Earth. This being the one of what happens when you get a little older, you're a gay guy, and suddenly, now you're on the market again.
Yeah, and I am an Earthling, that's for sure. No, it's been an honor to be in Jeff's film. This is a very personal story about a man facing a midlife crisis. But what's been wild about it is that really there haven't been any films about gay men going through a midlife crisis, and especially at this time where we have equality and now we've kind of gotten over the AIDS crisis. It's a love story. It's about how Jeff, in a way, had to go through his own career issues and financial issues, and you deal with these things about your looks, getting older as a gay guy, and then just learning how to be happy, learning how to get over yourself and be happy. And he falls in love with this younger guy, and it's really a very touching story.
Well, I think a lot of us would like to be touched that way, and certainly you have been. So what is it like to successfully have this kind of relationship happen and demonstrate to people all over the world you can have love and fulfillment at any age?
You should never give up. I went through this big midlife crisis, and I realized that at 48 years old, it's never too late to fall in love. So I thought, I told the love of my life, we just got married, and we need to put this down on a script and share it, because guys go through this all the time, and they deal with this secretly in their own closet. Gay guys and straight guys. And I thought, I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to tell the truth, what it's like.
I think a lot of guys are going to relate to it. It's really
there
great.
It is. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you
We're
very
about
much.
to head into the theater and have a look. Mel England, as you know, is the star of Best Day Ever. And one of the things that's really noteworthy about Mel is he has for many years, been out as a professional Hollywood actor. This is something that once upon a time might have been considered a great risk, but you've been one of the guys paving the future for so many that they could be who they are and be professional at the same time. And now you're standing on your own red carpet in Hollywood, California, premiering in your own movie. Did you imagine that when you were in acting school?
Well, yeah, I guess we all dream about it, but I didn't expect that it would happen quite this way. Actually, when I was first studying in New York in let's just say in the last century,
not that long ago.
You actually did not visualize that you would be out openly gay as an actor. At that time, nobody was out except for Harvey Fierstein, and then eventually my friend Craig Chester came out in the late 80s, early 90s, but it was not considered to be, anyway, we know that. So yeah, I'm so glad that we're at a time where you can be integrated, be yourself, and be gay, and I'm really happy with Jeff Lundon that not only that he's making this film about a gay man going through a midlife crisis, but also that he cast a gay actor in the role. That's actually a really amazing thing.
It's kind of shocking.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of shocking. So what have you learned, actually, about the nature of relationships? You're in one yourself, by the way, married, openly so, but you're also replicating somebody else's relationship. Do you get insights about that?
Actually, yeah, I'll never forget when I was first dating Tony, and it was actually my friend Craig who was saying to me, you know, I was like, I don't know if I can get into a relationship. What about my career? It's gonna, you know, like being an artist, or you think like you have to be single and tortured. And you know what Craig said to me that was so great? It was like, wow, now you're in a relationship. You can actually play somebody who's in a relationship now. And at the time I thought, well, yeah, I can always do that anyway. But now that I'm actually in that kind of a relationship, I get it. It's sort of like being a mom or something. When, I guess once you have kids, something fundamentally changes. So it was a big deal for me, and it's informed my work totally. Yeah.
So one final thought here. You're about to go in and watch the premiere of your own movie. You're going to be watching, as we were talking earlier with other people watching you, which is kind of the big deal for an actor at the premiere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a little weird and scary, and you're always like, oh no, is that what I really look like? And I don't know, but it's really thrilling. I'm so grateful to Jeff Lundon for making the film. I'm so grateful to my family that supported me all these years in my vision, and my teachers. I had some amazing acting teachers, all the way from Stella Adler a million years ago to even now coaching with Sally Kirkland on this role. So I've been really fortunate and blessed. And Paul Burchett, who came in as our executive producer, saved the day. It really takes a village to make an independent film. And I think it takes like a whole city of people to help support an artist in development. And I'm so aware of, my dad is here today. My dad came all the way from Oregon, and I think for him, it's like the proudest moment, you know? So it's pretty, I can say this, it's pretty fucking cool. Thank you, Cary.
I'm going to let you go in and have the pleasure, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right. Yay!
Moore is one of the stars in the movie Best Day Ever. And even though it's a great love story and we're all thrilled about that side, there always has to be a douchebag in a movie, especially in a love scene, right? Because
That's right.
the friction is what creates growth.
Yes.
As an actor.
Yes, sir.
And in real life, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I have the honor of playing Greg, who is pretty much just about as douchey as I am in real life. No, I'd like to think not quite so, but it was an honor to get to play such an interesting character with some really good actors. I got to play opposite Mel, who I'm a huge fan of Mel, and my part is Greg. I get to play the boyfriend that breaks up with him and causes him to go on this journey because he's just not good enough for me.
Nate, many people want to know, you know, actors, do they want to always play heroes and the great guy, or is there something to getting to play something with an edge?
You know, about 100 years ago, I was at Juilliard, and I had one of the honor of studying under John Stickles, who's one of the greatest acting teachers of the last century. And I remember John telling me that there is no such thing as a villain in real life. Everybody's the protagonist in their own story. And I had to find, for Greg, I had to find a way to play him as a protagonist in his story. He's after what's best for him, and he thinks he's a good guy, but he ends up making a lot of bad choices that hurt people, and just like in real life. So I had the pleasure of trying to find a different dimension to him, and it was a lot of fun.
All right, well, congratulations. We should get you in there so you can see your movie.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Executive producers of Best Day Ever. And, you know, not that many years ago, many of us would have said, you mean you can actually make a movie about a story like this, be in Hollywood, California, on a red carpet premiering this, and it has actually happened. And you are one of the reasons it is successfully happening tonight.
And one of the luckiest ones, because it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Mel England and a dear friend of ours, Sue Vaccaro. And Sue is a producer in New York, and Sue and I have always wanted to work together, and she couldn't do this film, but she said, oh, contact Paul. So Mel did one night, and the rest was history.
And now that you have a completed film, you're about to go in and watch the premiere with all kinds of other people.
Yeah.
I imagine you've got some butterflies in your stomach.
Well, not really, Cary, because I tell you, after you see a film, and I've seen it several times now, I know what it has. So,
right. But,
and it has the heart.
Yes.
The heart and the guts.
But you haven't yet seen civilians, us, walk in and sit down and watch it with you. That's
true.
The part that's cool.
That's true. That's true. But I think if I enjoy a movie as much as I enjoy this, I feel that if anyone has a heart and a soul, they'll love this movie.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tom Saporito is in Best Day Ever, and here we are in a timeline in the world where for the first time we're starting to tell mainstream stories that have affected millions of people, but we've never seen these before in a movie theater. Standing here in Hollywood, California, here you are, Shane, that's your character. Did you imagine in acting school you'd be doing this someday?
You know what? I think I'm lucky enough to have grown up in a time where it is snowballing quickly. I think I'm very spoiled in that way of my generation, is where it's, you know, I don't know if I thought this would be the situation, but it's been very fun to watch it. Once it started, it's just kind of snowballed forward, and it's a really exciting time.
You know, if you think about it, you're one of the founding fathers, because right now it is the Petri dish. This is the test tube. We are doing whatever it's going to end up being.
It's going to be a good bacteria.
You're
really good bacteria.
You're the bacteriophage
Yeah.
that will end up being replicated and cloned by the choices you're making.
A higher compliment I could never receive.
Well,
the bacteria fudge. I like it. No, I'm
bacteriophage, not bacteria fudge.
No, I'm serious. It's great.
Well, but it's important, I think, often that we acknowledge each other for this
Sure.
stuff, because it may not be, let's say, somewhere in Alabama,
Right.
jumping out on a red carpet going, by the way, I'm gay,
Right.
and then you're just going to go off and have a steak somewhere.
Yeah.
It may not work like that.
Yeah, we
Or
are
at least
kind
in
of-
people's minds, right?
Right. Well, it's nice that some kid in Alabama will see this film as a young kid and will say, oh, cool, that's what I can grow up and have a good, you know, normal, healthy relationship. Yeah, I think that is important for...
Or likewise, as an older kid,
Sure.
maybe he's 60
Sure.
and saying, you mean I can actually...
Still have that. That's, yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's a nice reminder.
Now, would you say that the quality of love is different between straight couples and gay couples?
No.
Or is it...
No. I would
How
say
does that work? Because a lot of people don't know.
I remember when I came out to my parents and I said, picture me with a wife, picture me with kids, picture me with a white picket fence, picture me, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, just take out the wife and put in a husband. I said, and you're done. And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, do you know the name Noam Chomsky?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you do. See, we like this guy, very smart.
Yeah.
I asked Noam Chomsky about that. I said, well, what's the secret? 50 years of marriage. What's the secret? He said, well, or between, you know, gay marriage, straight marriage. He said, I actually never thought about it, but I imagine the issue is who left the toothpaste cap off.
Yeah, right.
That's about as
I like that.
complicated as it's going to get. And really, it's a wonderful truth.
Right.
So this kind of stuff coming out, it's Oscar Wilde meets the real world.
Right.
You know, and you
Son, I'm
again,
happy you're gay. Don't forget to pick up the orange juice.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right? Well, I'm so glad that you got a chance to do this movie. I'm
was my
glad that
pleasure.
you're about to go in and enjoy your
See ya.
own premiere
Yeah.
and watch people watching you.
Worst thing I
That's a-
cannot imagine.
It's the most
I would rather.
beautiful-
It is horrible. I don't want to watch anybody watching me, but I'm excited to do it. Nonetheless, it's an uncomfortable. Yeah.
Well, congratulations,
Thanks, it's a real
my
pleasure.
friend.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Best Day Ever. And Andy Socker is executive director of the Lavender Effect, now known as the world's premier organization for LGBT oral history projects, among others, among building the first museum ever to tell this universal story. You're here at a movie that tells one segment of many, many human stories, showing that it's a successful model. You can actually fall in love, you can have a good life, and you're seeing that now as you talk to people around the world.
You know, it's amazing. When I was a young age, I never would have expected to have marriage in my future. None of us would. And when you see the potential that exists in our culture now, it's astounding. Not to mention the interracial relationships, the multi-generational relationships. Many of us didn't even expect to live until we were 50. So this is a marvelous film.
You know, you mentioned the intergenerational and the multiracial relationships. Many cultures, particularly maybe the heterosexual model, doesn't necessarily invite somebody who would check a box called other. But it seems in the gay culture we have really a rainbow of possibility in the dating world, right?
Well, it's a little bit different, you know. We can combine in similar or dissimilar ways. And today, many of us are having children, raising a family. This was, again, not really a possibility before. But then we have our people that are still living on the edge, and we want to respect those people too.
In the 1980s and the early 1990s, we lost an entire generation. So really the common thinking was there is no future, there is no getting older, there is no companionability after a certain age. And now that's been wildly disproved, and it's a new world. Maybe with no founding fathers yet.
And our mission at the Lavender Effect is to honor these people that gave us the freedoms. You know, we take a lot of things for granted in our world today, and we don't necessarily want to repeat the past. So if we understand what happened in the past, not so long ago, we're not destined to repeat it.
There it is. Mel England, the star of Best Day Ever. Next to you is your father, Mr. England. And many people, and we're talking in the millions, have never had the honor of a parent showing up for something that is groundbreaking like this. It's a huge deal for so many.
A very moving movie.
And Mel, for you, doubly moving, I think. Not only seeing your project presented in Hollywood as we stand here on the red carpet, but also having your father here.
Oh, it means the world to have him here. And it's a little bit like art imitates life, because you know the character that I play in the film is, you know, has this tortured kind of relationship with his father. And although my dad and I had a great relationship, there were years where it was complicated and hard around sexuality. It was, you know, not everybody came out, you know, our generation. It was different, you know, 20, 30 years ago when, you know, so my dad, God bless him, came around and is I think very open and accepting, and accepts my partner Tony. You know, it's amazing to see what's happened in our lifetime.
And a compliment unsolicited to you, Mr. England. You're being here for millions of people. It's a huge deal. It's the father they never had. It's the brave father they never had. And that's what courage looks like to people. It's a huge jump off the high dive into real life for so many. So it's a privilege for me. My father, not here. Not here, not brave enough. So my hat is off to you. And that Mel did this project too. I mean, this is groundbreaking stuff. This is the Petri dish. This is the test tube of what the future looks like. And anybody who's got enough integrity to stand up and do art and do it in front of other people and change the way the world works, the way economies work even. It's a big deal. Yeah. So you must be proud. He's your son.
My dad used to drive me to acting classes when I was like 5 years old,
Right.
every week, and then come see all the plays. And then I went to performing arts high school. And then he worked 2 jobs so that I could go to NYU. I was on scholarship, but there was still room and board. And so, you know, this is really
A victory for Dad. You did well.
And of all the places you get to do a reunion, a red carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, that's Hollywood.
And there it is.
Yay.